Welcome to What in the Shibal with Susie and Ed.
We're just two Asian Americans talking shit about shit.
While Archie eats bones.
The nub. How are you?
Good.
Cool. Moving along. Great. Everyone's so much better for that now.
I am wonderful. How are you?
Great. No, I'm fine. This is the kids' last week of school. We're heading into summer vacation, which I think a lot of people are like, oh, cool, it's summer, like it's break. No. Now I have to fill every single day with something or let my kids just rot in the house with nothing to do. You know, and I'm like, I've invested so much time into their brains, and then to just let them just sit in the house and not do anything just feels like such a waste. But again, not tiger momming my kids this summer. We're just going to do some volleyball. We're headed out of town for one last tournament and, you know, preparation for my youngest daughter's 10th. Can't believe that baby's 10.
Two double-digiters.
I know.
At least they're not two teens yet.
Well, soon enough. My other daughter turns 13 in September. So, yeah, it's a big year. You know, double digits for the little one, teenage for my older, and then 50 for my husband. It's a big year. So, yeah, I'm just kind of getting ready for all that. So, it's fine. Just, you know, hectic as usual.
Yeah, summer is like kind of weird because, like, yes, traffic dies down just a smidgen.
Yeah.
But then, like, there's just kids everywhere. Like, normal places that you go that you're like, oh, it's a Tuesday, I'm going to go do this. And you're like, oh, there's a bunch of teenagers here.
Yeah, you have to really reconsider your plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, we go to the beach a lot. Kids, like, we're playing volleyball this summer. You know, just the usual shit. Nothing exciting. No news is good news.
Yeah. Anything exciting happen?
You really put me on the spot.
Yeah, my mind goes blank when that happens to people. Are like, what's your favorite show? And I'm
What's
like,
your favorite song? I'm like, I don't know songs.
Yeah. I was like, what's TV?
I've never heard of a song before. I don't. Did anything exciting happen? No. Thank you for asking. How about you? Anything exciting happen? Quick. Did anything exciting? See?
No.
I said no news is good news.
Yeah.
I stand by that.
I have, it's like, I don't know if I would even call it a date. It's like a meet. First meet on Saturday.
Did? In person?
Going to be.
Oh, going to.
Yeah, we're not going to hear about it for 2 weeks.
Oh my God, these poor people. They're going to be dead. What? Who is it? I mean, tell me what you can tell me. I don't know if you want what you want to divulge. Is my point.
Sometimes, like, the one thing I do feel bad about is sometimes, like, because you're talking to multiple people at the same time, like, your wires cross. Maybe because I'm also, like, 40 now, my brain's like, but, like, she was like, I went to Disneyland. And I was like, oh, I talked to someone that had a Disney pass. And I was like, was it you? I was like, oh, God. I was like, and then I just scroll through, you know, just so you're not like, oh, making use of that Disney pass. And she's like, I don't know.
What are you talking about? Who are you talking about? Well, but just as you are talking to multiple people, so are they.
Yeah.
You know, so I feel like that's just kind of how this whole thing works.
Yeah, but, like, I feel like in online dating, especially from the woman's standpoint, there's probably so many, like, douchey guys that, like, you just want to limit douche stuff happening, even by accident.
Douchery.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
douchery.
There's only so much you can do to control that, though. You know, I mean, like, you're going to get douchery everywhere, you know, online or in person. So, you know, as a woman, you learn to manage it.
Yeah. I did get one where someone reached out to me, and then I was like, oh, hi. And I said something, and then she left the chat, and I was like, cool.
That was weird.
Yeah, I was like, you know, you don't like quirky.
Like,
Got it.
I've been even on, like, first dates or, like, you know, online things or whatever, and, like, you'll feel like somebody was super into you, and then, or, like, even just, like, wants to, like, say hello, and then they just, like, disappear. And I used to be like, that was weird. And then I'm like, is it though? Like, I do that kind of shit to people all the time where I'm just like, oh, hey. And, like, I just get, like, distracted or something else is going on in my life. And I just kind of am, like, backburnering things. And so I'm like, I don't want them to take it personally. So I, therefore, will also not take things personally. I also don't care.
Yeah, there's this other one girl that I've been talking to, and, like, she'll see that I sent something, and then recently haven't been replying for, like, 3-4 days. But then she'll reinitiate the conversation. But also, she just moved last week.
Okay.
Which is right when it started.
Yeah.
So like I kind of get that, but it's also confusing because you're like, are you interested? Are you not? I'm not offended. Can we just like
That's the game, man.
clear and
That's how the
concise?
game works. I hear. I've been told. And, maybe she thinks like, oh, I'm playing hard to get, which would just be so fucking annoying.
Yeah.
But that could be very much it.
Like,
do people even do that anymore?
Can you even play hard to get on a dating app? Because it's like there's other people.
You're here to be gotten, so you're obviously not that hard to get.
That's like a in-person thing, and even then, it's like annoying.
I guess.
It's like, do people not understand the successful key to any relationship is communication? Hard to get is the opposite of that.
Yeah, but
it's literally mixed signals.
I think it's they want to appear desirable. And I feel like they are like, well, if I seem like I am not as easily accessible as others, it's because I am doing things that are more important, or I'm not more important. I'm doing things that, are important to me. I'm talking to other people. I'm exploring the world. I'm doing all these very adventurous, wonderful things that make me so interesting.
Red flag.
Yeah, maybe.
Because then, like, are you going to be like that in the relationship?
I mean, listen to me. You're like, how was your week? I'm like, I didn't do shit. I don't know anything about making myself seem more interesting.
Yeah, because like if you do that now, who's to say that you're not going to do that?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like I'm talking to you about something important, and you're like, oh, I'm going to pretend like I have something.
I am by no means suggesting that is a good strategy.
Yeah,
I'm just suggesting that it is one.
For me, red flag.
Yeah, it's like,
I hate games.
Oh, you're so coy. Oh, you're so,
Yeah, I hate people who play games. Like being an introvert and like
already
that's one
going out
thing.
on a yeah.
That's one thing. But to intentionally play that.
I mean, but there are people who put up different facades for different reasons all the time.
I do also like crazy, so.
You do?
Yeah.
Don't bring that bitch around me then, because I have no tolerance for people who incite craziness just for the sake of crazy. I will fucking tell that bitch to fuck off. No.
I don't know how to quite define it, but there does need to be some level.
I wonder if my husband would classify me as crazy. Yeah, define crazy.
Like a little unhinged.
That's not a definition. That's just saying more of the same thing.
I said earlier, I don't know how to quite quantify it.
Like, give me a scenario where unhinged is acceptable, and even more importantly, where it is attractive to you.
I guess people like
do you like jealous girls? Is that what you mean?
No.
Because
that is crazy.
Oh, see?
But just like people like someone who's not going to pacify maybe and like will maybe yell at me when I deserve it.
Well, that's not crazy. That's reasonable.
That's like a little crazy. When I think of people who aren't crazy, I almost think like super avoidant, passive aggressive, maybe.
You're talking about just healthy. That's not crazy.
No,
but I think we need to unpack is why you think having somebody who is upfront and speaking their mind and being, telling you the things that they think, why you classify that as crazy.
Because those are behaviors of people who could be a little crazy. Do you know what I mean?
I clearly
don't. someone who's like very passive probably isn't. That's not true. There are passive aggressive people who are crazy, but like not passive aggressive, just like passive.
From an objective outside observer, what I'm hearing is that I want somebody that is assertive enough to tell me what they really, really think. And to me, because I have maybe not experienced that seems crazy to me.
No, that's like the base level. And then from there,
No.
Like I can't think of any scenarios off the top of my head.
Because when I think of crazy, I think of somebody who like stalks you or like, keys your car.
Yeah, fair.
Or like sets your garbage can on fire. Like that's crazy. Like
yeah. I think of
or
crazy.
Goes through your phone.
Yeah, no. I don't want that. But like that energy.
That energy?
Yeah, but
so
not
you
specifically.
Want that's kind of like obsessive a little bit about you?
No, not about me. They're just like intense maybe at times.
Okay, but intensity again, I don't feel like it's
I know, but that's what I'm saying. I think you're thinking of crazy in a negative tone, and to me, me, it's not. to me, it's like crazy as in like, oh, like you're a little crazy. You know what I mean? Like like someone who like I can't really predict all the time. Like you're just a little unhinged. And I think I like that because I feel like I'm a little unhinged sometimes. And I feel like not that again, not from a negative perspective.
No. Like, again, I think we were having the age-old issue between Susie and Ed is like, I just want the definition.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't really know how to describe it.
Like I said, when I hear like, oh, I want a girl that's crazy, I'm like, oh, then that makes you fucking crazy. Yeah, because that means you want chaos. And that means that you want somebody who is doing things behind your back. Like I said, like going through your phone or like stalking your mom or calling your friends and pretending to be somebody that they're not. That to me is crazy.
That's like
and maybe it's crazy. Because I've experienced that level of crazy.
That's like bad shit crazy.
That is like not what you want.
No.
Don't want that.
I want like the first half of the stuff
intensity
you said.
and like passion and like, what's the word unpredictable and like, those kinds of things, which I don't necessarily, I would think is to classify that as crazy. Like somebody who wants to like, hey, let's pack our shit and go take a road trip to Tijuana.
No, like, not so much like, what is that word?
Spontaneous.
Yeah, not that so much. It's just like, there's just something a little
if you say
scary
I'm gonna
about
fucking
them.
punch you because
like
you're still not telling me.
Like something a little scary, like they're a little unpredictable. Because like chaos might be the best word. I don't want chaos, but I also don't want calm waters.
But there's so much between those two things.
Yeah, I know. That's why like it's nothing specific. I just like I don't want someone who's like just like passive and just like go with the flow like too much. Like I need someone who's assertive. Like a little like combative and like
those are so very different.
A little like that's what I mean. It's like not an all-encompassing thing, and it's not like I'm attracted to this one. To me, it's like the it factor. It's like someone who's like a little unpredictable. Obviously caring and all that stuff too, but also like a little crazy. I don't know how to explain it. There's just like, I can identify if someone is or not, but I can't like.
Unpredictable. Like, instead of like getting you like a shirt for Christmas, she gives you like a pig bladder.
No, that's psychotic.
That's unpredictable.
No, that's psychotic.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I couldn't have predicted that.
Like someone who will. Yeah, I really don't know how to explain it.
And the reason I want to know is because if I meet a girl, I'm like, oh, she seems crazy. Ed will love her. But I want to know like what brand of crazy that is.
Yeah,
right?
No, it's just like, it's not in any specific way. I just need someone who's like, not like your person next door, Not like the girl next door, like the girl next door with like secrets. That sounds weird.
She sounds. That's what I mean. Sounds crazy. She sounds scary to me. She has scary secrets.
Not like secrets. I don't mean like I want to date some girl who's like a dominatrix on the inside.
But see, that to me would be like more tame than like crazy and secrets is like there are dead bodies in her backyard. There
like
she experiments with cross.
What's what I mean? Like they could be a little possessive, but that's not specifically what I'm looking for. They just like needs to be a little
excitement.
Quirky? Quirky's like Zooey Deschanel.
Oh God.
Crazy is like, oh, maybe this is the better. Crazy is like,
yeah, maybe give me a person.
Jennifer Lawrence is a little crazy.
Oh. Let me sit with that.
Like Zooey Deschanel is very like, oh, I'm quirky, but like I'm also going to avoid arguments.
Could a better word be like zany instead of crazy?
Yes, to me that's just a synonym of crazy. But like I guess with a slightly less negative connotation.
Yeah, zany is like, oh, fun and like a little like.
Yeah, but I don't mind some of the negative crazies too.
I feel like you saying that out loud publicly is going to be negative for you because there are going to be people who are like, oh, he likes crazy. Let me show him.
Yeah, like that attitude.
Have fun with your inbox.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. Like women with that attitude, but like maybe just.
You want to see crazy? I'll show you fucking crazy. That's like,
no.
Don't bring that around me. I said this before. Nope.
No, like.
She can stay on the east side with you.
Maybe women with like that vibe, but not in reality. You know what I mean? Like people can have a vibe.
Yeah, okay.
Like you can have like a bad boy vibe without actually being a piece of shit. You know what I mean? Like
okay, like my husband has that,
sure.
I guess.
But like, yeah, zany, I guess is a better word, but like more encompassing, I just feel like is just like a little unhinged. Just like, you just don't know. They're like kind of real. I guess maybe that's what it is. Just like people who, I don't know. That's what I mean. It's just like goes in circles. It's just like, there's just like this little it factor.
Je ne sais quoi is what you're trying to say. Like, I don't know how to say it, but it's there. And that's okay if you can't define it. And maybe that's almost better, right? Is like you just have to feel it.
Yeah.
You have to understand it instead of defining it. And that's okay. We can leave that there. I'm just saying, like, if I were to meet somebody and I was like, oh, is she zany or is she crazy? Should I introduce
She's
her?
like very personality high. English much.
Personality high.
Yeah. Personality high. Just like
high on personality.
Yeah. Not like high
or
personality
like
high. Like high setting.
Got it.
But I do like the word chaos. Just like not chaos. Just like a little chaotic.
Well, so
like
but if you say I like chaos but not chaos, then that's no longer chaotic.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. I don't want chaotic like in like they're a hoarder and their house is like all crazy, but like a little chaotic as in like
you're going to Disneyland and she just stops and just starts sobbing in the middle of Disneyland. That's chaotic.
That's crazy.
No, that's chaotic. What are you doing?
It is both.
This is fucking chaotic. You can't do that.
No, that's like that's an emotional thing. And I feel like I could be there for that. But
I mean, if there was a reason, sure. But they do that every time you go somewhere. Like, no, that's like, okay, dude.
No,
or like,
but like
go to like a bar and start to fight every time. Like chaos.
I don't mind that. Not every time, but like just like a little interesting, you know? And it doesn't have to be that either. I could, whatever. But typically I find I get bored easily. So like I need someone who's not boring.
But the thing
maybe that's like the better way to
ask you
put
is,
it.
do you think that you're those things?
Yeah.
Are you a kind of crazy and a little chaotic?
A little.
That's interesting.
Why?
Because I would never categorize you as chaotic or
my head is chaotic.
Right, but your head can be chaotic, but you yourself are not chaotic.
See, that's who I want to find.
But how will you know she's chaotic if it's only in her head?
You just have to like look out for the
fuck's sake. Fine, go find her. Bring her to me then. I'll be like, can you just sit here? Because I need to understand what the fuck is going on. Because at this point, I don't.
Just like you can like tell from the little things, like they're a little indecisive, or they get a little like hot-headed or flustered. Like those are the things I find adorable. So yeah, Saturday. It's like a lot of pressure.
I was like, what are you talking about? Oh, right. What we were talking about.
Yeah. It's a lot of pressure because it's the first one, because now there's like thoughts in my head. I'm like, oh no, wouldn't it be a great story if we were like, it was my first date and she was the one. Now, like,
don't put any pressure on it. Jesus Christ. Hi, I just need to know, since we're getting married, are you crazy? That's pressure. Hello, future wife. What's happening in your brain right now? Well, I mean, that is obviously a shared goal between the two of you. But like I said, maybe we don't put so much pressure on it.
Yeah. No, but that's just what I do,
That's chaotic. There you go. So you are.
Yes,
I guess you are kind of chaotic.
Good times. But yeah, we're not going to find out about it for 2 weeks.
Sorry.
Could be engaged by then.
Oh my God.
I'm just kidding. See? A little crazy.
So Joe, will you walk me down the aisle? Of course I will.
See? A little crazy.
That is crazy. Well, it happens though, right? That's the beauty and unpredictability of, potentially falling in love. I married my husband after, 3 months?
You guys got engaged after 3 months. You guys walked down the aisle after 3 months?
No, we got engaged after 3 months
Yeah,
and then
okay.
walked down the aisle after
Okay.
five months.
I was like, how did you guys
Oh,
engage
sorry, no.
after the
Wait,
first
hold on.
week?
I got pregnant at 3 months. We had already talked about getting married before I got pregnant and then got married. Not even 3 months, a few months later, a couple months later.
You got married at like 6 months pregnant?
5, but yeah, it was horrible. I'm so sick. I was like, I can't even enjoy this.
Oh, you had like the epitome of a shotgun wedding.
No, because there was nobody was getting killed if they didn't get married.
Oh, I thought shotgun wedding just meant fast because you're pregnant. I for some reason thought the shotgun was
somebody's
the baby.
holding the father's holding a shotgun to the groom's head in order
right.
to force him to marry.
I
Is
see,
my
I see.
understanding of what shotgun.
I just assumed shotgun wedding was like she's pregnant, so you have to get married before she births the baby. So it's like shotgun, as in like it's fast. It's like boom.
No, that's not it. I don't believe that's it at all. We were both already
Your thing makes sense.
36. My dad was like, "Well, want to marry her?"
Yeah. No, that part makes sense. The dad holding a shotgun, which is why it's called a shotgun wedding.
Which I find to be a
never
very
even thought of it that
offensive
way.
term. It's like, first of all, I'm not owned by somebody. Nobody has to be forced to marry me. You know what I'm saying? Like, God, people volunteer to marry me all the time. It's very annoying. Marry all of you.
That sounded so crazy.
I've had 4 different people propose to me.
I've never proposed to anybody.
Oh, you will just wait till Saturday. Look out, lucky lady. It's almost Saturday.
That is pretty fast because in my head I was like, at my age, be able to have kids and still be alive when they graduate high school. I was like,
who knows? You know.
I was like, I would have to be married by the end of the year, not end of this year. Like within a year is what I meant, I guess.
Why?
Because I don't have time to date for like 4 years.
You won't. Things are always accelerated as you get older for that very reason. But I think a year. 2 years is still reasonable.
No.
Oh my God.
Get married in 2 years.
A lot of pressure.
And then like try to stay married for as long as possible before having a baby. And then boom, 45.
Wait.
And then it takes 9 months to gestate a baby, to create the baby.
It's closer to 10.
46.
Okay, wait. Hold on. So you want to date and then wait 2 years to get pregnant?
No, I'm saying if you're like 2 years isn't that long. And I was like, well, at that point, I'm saying if that's the timeline, then it's going to be so late.
Right. No, I'm not suggesting that you do that, but I'm just saying, like, even you don't have to date
Even
for
if it
4
was.
years
Yeah,
to
yeah.
then,
No, I know.
No, you speaking
But I
of being
do
upfront,
agree.
you should communicate that to the people that you're dating because.
Well, yeah, but you don't do that over text. You do that like
Oh God,
when
of course
you're
not.
in
No,
person
no.
or person. Yeah.
No, of course.
I haven't done this online dating thing, but I do have common sense.
I mean, it's questionable.
Sometimes I did think of maybe putting in my bio being like marriage driven, kids driven, let's do this. Then I was like, no, that's intense. Or I was like, some women are going to be like, yes, oh my God, yes.
And then you have to be careful of them too, because that is
crazy.
Well, you like crazy.
That's what I'm saying.
Crazy and chaos, so put it up there. You want crazy and chaos? Tell a bunch of women who are on dating sites that you're ready to fucking go. Let's do the chaos.
Like, and I've been taking supplements to up my sperm count.
I don't want to know that.
I only know about that because there's this guy on 90 Day Fiance who does that. But yeah, different.
Well, I will say this. The only reason my husband and I got pregnant so quickly was because my friends were having fertility issues. I had 2 different friends at the time who were having fertility issues. And I was like, hey, if we want to have kids, we're going to want to, figure that out sooner than later because it could take me years to get pregnant. And then 2 days later, I was like, just kidding, I'm pregnant. So you never know. So don't put so much pressure. I mean, I understand having a timeline and having plans it makes sense. And having a goal is wonderful. But, don't put so much pressure on yourself that ends up being the reason these things don't happen for you. You know what I'm saying? Because putting that kind of pressure on yourself for something that could, for a lot of reasons take time, could be something that could be to your detriment ultimately.
Oh, that's exciting.
That's exciting. I can't wait to hear what happens.
I'm not.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I'm terrified.
Don't I mean, I can't tell you how to feel, obviously, but
I've never been on like well, it's not technically a blind date, but it kind of
No.
is because like you
Yes.
don't know them at all.
What are you gonna wear?
And like you saw photos, but like you don't know what they look like. Some
You
of
haven't
those photos were
FaceTimed?
dark. Well, that's what I asked. I was like, "Hey, do you want to FaceTime or just meet?" And she's like, "Let's just meet for coffee." And I was like, "Okay."
Where are you guys meeting? Don't tell, but
I don't know.
I want to be there.
I haven't
I have, like,
responded yet.
binoculars.
technically. I haven't. I saw it on the way here.
Do
And
you want
then
to wear
I
like a
didn't respond.
headphone in your ear, and then I'll just be like, okay, now say this, like
No.
Cyrano de
She's
Bergerac.
gonna be like, "Why do you have a headphone?" She'll be like, "I can hear her."
Hi. Hi. You seem so nice. Are you? What's your level of? What's your brand of crazy?
What do I do? How do you get out of a date if you're like, "Oh, yeah, no."
Just say that.
Just
I don't like this. I'm leaving. This feels yucky. I'm leaving.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. Like, if I've ever been on a date, it's because I already liked you. You know what I mean? Like, so.
Well, be honest. Just be like, I don't feel this going anywhere. It was so nice to meet you.
That sounds so mean.
Well, it's meaner to like not, you know.
And then not respond.
I think, yeah.
I've
just
seen on some
ghost
people.
them. That's worse.
I've seen on some people's profiles that are like, "If you don't like me, please just tell me instead of just ghosting me." And I'm like, ouch, trauma much?
This feels like from experience.
You're like, "Ooh, you come off like a reject now." So.
Oh no.
No, I'm just kidding.
But I would probably say that most people would want just somebody to be like, I don't feel like this is going anywhere, but thanks for your time. I think that's the right thing to do.
That sounds mature.
You're not going to go down that road, are you?
We'll see. Well,
I think when it comes to
that's what I would like to
dating,
do.
I think you have to also kind of see what the person is like, like being really upfront and being like very much just honest. Like that's just kind of where I am with a lot of things. And when I see that somebody is not doing that and they're just kind of like, oh, well, I feel like no, what?
Yeah.
What? Just say it. What's the issue? What's going on?
I did see this post yesterday on this one group where this woman's like, she's like, "I am the country's leader in Asian matchmaking." And I almost reached out to her like, "Hey, have you ever thought about working with someone with a bunch of followers?" And I could
That
be
could
like,
be so fun.
"Hey, look, she really is the
Is
best."
it like
free
a
advertising.
tea leaf thing or is it like an algorithm thing?
I don't think it's an algorithm. I think in her post, some of the responses, she stated that some people who are not even based in SoCal reach out to her because they know that she has the largest database of Asian singles. People. But the majority, she does focus on like LA, San Francisco, like Arizona or something. I forget. But it's like in this area.
I mean, it couldn't hurt. That sounds kind of fun.
It sounds even more terrifying.
Why?
She has like a podcast too.
She
has
does?
A dating podcast.
Hello, we should do a
cross.
What do you do?
Episode
cross pollination. I don't even
crossover.
That would be so fun for me.
Yeah,
I don't know about you, but
it's just like terrifying to put someone else in the control, and then for them
couldn't
to be.
That also be like a huge relief?
It is, but then like the anxiety-ridden part for me is like in order for her to be accurate, you have to like be very honest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the stuff that like you probably wouldn't say publicly. Like, "Hey, I prefer this specific thing. And it just feels like it feels dirty.
Honesty feels dirty?
No, like preferences feel dirty.
I don't think they should. And the thing too is like you're gonna have to make concessions on certain, preferences anyway. So I think it's just to create a baseline for you. Baseline for like, oh, okay, this demographic isn't for him, or this particular belief system does not work for him. But let's build off of those preferences. I think that's okay. Like it would be super weird if she's like, based on your preferences, I matched you with this person, and you find out they're like super conservative, ultra Republican. You'd be like, you didn't listen to what I said.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that's a good thing. I feel like that would be really interesting. And again, this is coming from me, who's just like the outside observer. I'm like, ooh, that sounds really fun. That sounds, whatever. To live it is different. That's definitely something you would have to consider. But
yeah, like because I've watched matchmaking shows, and every time I'm like,
but matchmaking shows are intended to make you feel that way.
no, like ones where there's like a matchmaker. And then they do that, and then they show you them going on dates and stuff.
But again, those reality shows are intended to have conflict and intended to have this intensity and chaos. And I know this firsthand because I talk to people all the time who want me to be on a show, and they're like, okay, so then what's the chaos? What's the controversy? I'm like, I don't want there to be controversy. They're like, then there's no show. I'm like, can't I just have a show where everybody's really cool and nice? And like,
what do you mean? What's the controversy? They ask you that?
Well, they want to, like, if whatever shows they like pitch, or they pitch like, let's do like a reality show with you or whatever. I'm like, okay, well, what about this concept? What about this concept? Okay, but what's the tension? What's the controversy? Because you have to have, there's a structure to a show, right? The build up, the whatever your goal is, and then there has to be this like drama and controversy in between, and then the resolution. That's how these shows are
like,
made
I'm
to be.
not white, and people are going to be upset about that.
Right. Controversy. But that's the point, is like to have this controversy driven thing is why. So that's why you feel that way, because they're manufactured and designed to be that way. So just because you've seen it be that way doesn't mean it will be that way for you, is what I'm saying. But I know actually quite a few people who've met either via online dating or matchmaking. That's, when you get to a certain age too, like you were saying, like people of a certain age or people who haven't experienced online dating might not be good at it. You know what I mean? And might not know how to, like, how do I fill this out? How do I talk about this with people? How do I break the ice? So many questions. Having a matchmaker, maybe, I'm just speculating, could be that buffer that some people need. That buffer to be like, oh, okay, this person is just this go-between, which makes it seem so much easier. And also, now that this matchmaker has had a hand in knowing both of us, putting us together makes me feel a little bit more relieved that I'm not going into this with just like some total fucking stranger.
Yeah.
There's a little vetting.
I think there's also like a little bit of fear that matchmakers would be like, you're impossible to match someone with.
Yeah, I can see that. I'm kidding. No, that's their job. Think about it this way. Why are people going to this matchmaker? Because they haven't had success on their own, maybe because of certain qualities that they have that make it difficult to match.
So it's like worse than online dating, because sometimes I'm online dating and I'm like, what's wrong with you? Why are you still single at our age?
Well, but a matchmaker, and think about it this way.
But like in my head, then, I turn it on myself. I'm like, what's wrong with me? I'm like, oh, I'm damaged.
I have problems.
Yeah.
Well, but then again, if you look at it this way, if you match with somebody and they are so horrible, you just put it on the matchmaker. It's not your fault you picked somebody bad. They did.
Oh yeah. That is the one good thing about matchmakers, is that I've noticed that like you don't have to break up with anyone. You just tell the matchmaker, I don't like her.
Please tell them I don't like that. please tell her no thank you.
Please tell her crickets.
Please tell her she lied about who she is. And you should know that too.
Yeah. And that is the one thing that you probably won't get from a matchmaker. Because I have seen matchmaker shows where they're like telling their clients like, all your photos are filtered.
Yeah.
They don't know who you are.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Or like, you said this on your thing, but that's not anything that you conveyed to me. So let's honest this up.
Did you see that the new Bachelorette is Asian for the first time?
Oh yeah, I did see that.
I think her name is Jen Tran.
I don't watch that show. But I did see that. Yeah, that's same. Great. But with that, I think comes a whole different. I've seen a lot of very racist comments about it.
About her?
About her being Asian. Like she's looking for a green card. It's like she's not.
Yeah, her name is Jen.
Jessica or Jen, yeah.
Yeah. Because she was born here.
Or the over sexualization of her and the fetishization, and there's all that. But I'm happy to see that an Asian American woman is on a mainstream show like that.
But there's like barely any Asian guys.
Yeah.
As her
right
potentials. people are like, the one guy's last name is Win. It's like, one.
That one whole guy?
And someone's like, one guy seems like he's Middle Eastern, so he's like technically Asian. I'm like, that is also true.
Right.
But why are there so many white guys? Why are there's like multiple
white guys?
Sams. There's like a lot of white guys. It looked like there's a couple of black guys and then like ambiguous tan people. Tan-ish people, because you're like, I can't tell if you're Italian or Iranian. Like, right. I don't know.
Which I guess is the point, which I guess is fine. You know, that's sorry, I'm really distracted.
So you guys only dated for 3 months?
He got my name tattooed on his arm after 3 weeks of knowing me.
That's crazy. You're like, I don't know what crazy is. You guys are crazy.
Me. I said to you, I was like my husband. And you were kind of like, I mean, I guess. I'm like, yeah, actually, my husband is kind of crazy. But I think, again, like, I don't know if that he's incredibly
see, that's
spontaneous.
What I mean. Yeah. Not necessarily. It doesn't have to be spontaneous. It's just like, I can't do middle of the road, boring, normal.
You say that but then you want a wife and a mother of your children. Crazy and chaotic make those things a little more challenging. Is something that you also want to consider.
That's why I also want to be a stay-at-home dad. Like, I'll raise the kids.
Which is fine and totally, she's good with that. Great.
No, I'm just kidding.
I know that there's some like neurosurgeons in your like list. So that's good. Fantastic.
This one that I'm meeting on Saturday did list her job as healthcare. So
cool. Well, it could be anything.
She could be a doctor.
She could be a doctor.
Hopefully she's a surgeon.
A researcher.
Oh my God. Please scientist. Be like a cardiologist. I want that money. No, I'm just kidding.
I hope she doesn't watch the podcast. So we met, I believe. Yeah. So met in October and then dated very briefly. And then actually, no, he got the tattoo. So he got the tattoo, I think, like 6 weeks. So he's not that crazy.
That's so really crazy. Isn't it like on his neck?
That was a more recent one, but the first one was on his arm. He has my name in a variety of ways all over himself. He's going on Sunday for another one. I'm like, okay. It's just my face this time. I don't know. I don't think he's decided what it's going to be. It's another tattoo. And then in January, I found out that I was pregnant, and then we were married in March.
How did you even find a venue and stuff that fast?
We just found a restaurant, and he owned a bar at the time, so we had a reception there. It was great.
Oh, yeah, that's
super easy. And I'm very good at planning events very quickly. So is my family, which threw it together. I was like, I don't even want to do this. And my sisters were like, you have to at least have a wedding. I'm like, I did that one time, and it was beautiful, but I have to do this again. They're like, yes. Fine. I didn't want to ring. I didn't want any of the stuff. I was like, I just want to move on with my life, but they forced me, which I'm glad they did. In retrospect, I'm glad that we did all the things that we did. But yeah, I mean, you never
regret
know.
The photos. You never regret the videos.
I do regret how sick I was. I was so nauseous. But
and you couldn't even drink for your own wedding?
Couldn't drink, couldn't do nothing.
Dance?
I mean, you can dance.
While you're being nauseous? Sounds dangerous.
It was, but it was fine. It was wonderful. And we're coming up on 13 years. So my daughter's like, interesting. I turned 12, and then 6 months later, so I'm like, stop being so good at math, honey. She's like, if you got married in March and I was born in September, I'm like, I had you at 25 weeks. Yeah. You were very tiny.
Yeah, you're lucky to be alive.
Yeah, but I told her very early on. I was like, we didn't want to wait for you. We were very excited to meet you, so we decided to just fast forward everything.
Now she's at an age where she's like, smells like bullshit.
She doesn't even care. No, but it was true. It was.
Well, yeah, obviously, it's like if that didn't happen, you wouldn't be here.
So. Stealing all my shit.
Yeah, it's funny. When I was younger, I wanted a big wedding Because at the time I had like all these friends and I was like, oh, your wedding and your funeral is the only 2 times in your life where all the people who love you gather for you.
Mhm.
And the one you're not alive for.
Right.
So I was like, weddings are the biggest party, but throughout the years, I've like, you know, whittled down the important people in my life. And now
But that
I'm
makes
like,
it better.
it does. But now I'm just like, oh, I wouldn't mind like a courtyard wedding.
Listen, I've had
Or not a
weddings.
courtyard, you know what I mean? Court wedding.
I've had a wedding in
Courthouse.
both ways. Like my first wedding was a big wedding on a cliff on the Central Coast at this beautiful, huge hotel overlooking the ocean. Flowers. We had like a lounge. It was so beautiful. Our wedding was beautiful. We spent way too much money on it. It was gorgeous. And it was really fun. It was really, really fun. But I will say, I think I know that weddings are kind of falling out of favor for a lot of like younger people. But like you said, what you said was true. Like I feel like it's okay to celebrate yourself. I feel like it's okay to celebrate like your union and it maybe not in like a traditional sense or maybe in a traditional sense. But the small wedding that we had was like 30 people, just
Oh, that
my
is small.
husband and I and our
Family.
immediate family and our closest friends. And it was so beautiful. It was so like intimate. It was so lovely and it was really like joyful. So I'm all for weddings. I love weddings. I love going.
I do love going to weddings.
God,
I
they're so
cry often
fun.
at weddings.
I cry at every wedding.
Yeah, I'm
I
a crier.
I like have been maid of honor. I've been a bridesmaid. I don't even know how many times. I'm just always the one up there just sobbing.
I guess it also counts because like I don't usually go to like people I don't care's weddings. Like if I have to really like you to go to the wedding,
Absolutely.
unless
I'm
I'm
gonna buy
the
you
guest.
a $200 toaster. You better be somebody I love.
$200 toaster.
I don't know.
I was like,
You
damn.
never know. Cuisinart, they crazy.
But what if I was like, yeah, I want to get married quickly. She's like, so do I. And then next week I'm like, so I got married.
That would be so cool. I'd be mad at you though. I don't have a party. I love parties.
You're like, oh, I had the party. No, just kidding.
Dick.
That'd be so dick.
Mm.
I'd obviously.
I was gonna say,
invite
you said you
guys.
like crazy. Watch me go fucking crazy.
Aww.
Exactly. You didn't let me cry at your wedding, you fucking dick.
See, we're crazy. You get it now.
Exactly. See, now you get it.
Uh,
Oh, you know what would be fun? Write in. Sorry, write us your crazy love stories or what you think is crazy.
oh, yeah. Also, we had this idea.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so before you go,
Hold on. Don't leave.
Susie and I had this idea where we wanted to incorporate where we watch a show together. And we need to look into the specifics
Kind of like a book club, but for TV.
Yeah, but for like lazy
movies.
people.
Yeah. And so I'm not a good reader. My brain doesn't process the words like they're supposed to.
Yeah. And I don't want to.
And I don't want to. So yeah, kind of like a
like a rewatch
like a TV book club.
or a first watch
Yeah.
show. But either way, we need to figure out the logistics if we can like watch it live with y'all and if that's going to be able to be, streamed, broadcast, whatever, or if it's going to have to be like we watch it on our own and then we talk about it every week kind of a thing. But give us your idea of shows that you would be interested in watching with us. Susie suggested Bridgerton. I vehemently would prefer not to.
Why?
I don't know.
Bridgerton is good.
I just don't like the Victorian era.
Okay, but
it bores the shit out of me.
You will not be, well, I don't know. You might be bored with Bridgerton, but it's not like a period piece. They do definitely speak in like period language.
Is it like Hamilton where it takes place in that time, but it's like modernized?
Kind of, yes and no. It's hard to explain, but it centers around this one family and like, matchmaking and romance and like finding you of all people would, this is kind of where you are right now. You might.
That's why I don't want to watch it.
But you might like it for that reason.
Or should we watch like something else or like a K-drama, or
like a retro show would be really fun.
Yeah. Like, should we rewatch like
Grey's Anatomy? We could watch like old sitcoms from like the 80s and 90s and see if they still hold up in like modern times.
We
and,
can
like,
try
modern
watching
themes.
All American Girl.
Ooh. Oh God, this has been a tough watch.
It's because it was so.
Tough,
I loved it,
watch.
and I love you, Margaret Cho.
Margaret, we love you.
But that show was written so badly.
Yeah, I think that would be really hard for us to watch, which makes it maybe all the more important for us to watch and see like how.
Between the stereotypes too, but then the writing was just so bad.
Yeah. They're like, it's okay. There's an Asian family. That's enough to go off of. It's like, no, we do want like a show.
Yeah, like for real. We can. It doesn't have to be Asian, I guess.
No, absolutely not. Like old like sitcoms. Anyway, we'll hash this out.
Let us know in the comments.
Please
Email us, whatever. And on
that note, you love an and on that note.
I'm literally crying. Seriously, thank you for joining us on another episode of What in the Shibal.
This was a very stream of consciousness. This was a completely like we had other plans for this podcast, but it just ended up being what it was. So we hope you liked it.
But it works out because we'll let you know next week.
Aren't you so excited to find out how the date went? I know I am, and I'll find out probably much sooner than the rest of you because I'm gonna text him on like Sunday morning, like, so what happened? But you guys won't know for at least a couple weeks.
Yeah, and we'll let you know why next week. But thank you for joining us. You can catch us on our socials.
You can find me at Suji1 on Instagram and TikTok.
I'm at Etch-a-Sketch with a J at the end. This is Archie and Colt. This is Archie at Archie and Colt on Instagram. Otherwise, if you're listening to our podcast, make sure you like. Nope, that's not it. If you're listening to our podcast, know that there is a video version available on YouTube. And if you are watching us on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, and ring the bell.
Ding.
And if you would like to help us keep this podcast sustainable, think about joining our Patreon. I almost said podcast.
Patreon.
That's listed down below. Otherwise, make sure you write in any questions, stories, whatever at whatintheshibal. That's SHIBAL at gmail.com. Otherwise, thank you for joining us, and we will catch you on the next one. Okay, bye.
Bye.